Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is Amy from With Love by Amy, and today we're doing something a little bit different. It's going to be partially a haul video, but also how I've started handling all my supplies when I get them in. So this first order that I have here is my Olo markers that I got for my birthday. So what I do is, because I already, as you can see, have some Olo markers in my stash, I use this swatch chart and I'm making sure that I swatch them out. And I will post a photo of this completed swatch chart in my Airtable for my consumable supplies, just so that I know if I were to go to the store and they had Olo markers, if I wanted to buy some, I wouldn't be repurchasing the same things I already have. I have a similar swatch chart for my Distress Oxide inks because same thing. I don't want to end up with two of the same ink pad when I could have spent that money on something else. And yes, you are seeing this on like quadruple time speed here for me doing this swatching because nobody wants to sit through 20 minutes of me swatching a bunch of markers. I will say Olo was out of stock when I ordered these, so that's why there's some weird gaps in this. I would not have left the gaps. I tried to order colors that I thought I would use and order them around the colors I already had. So if I wanted to fill in gaps of color families that I thought I would use, like some of the darker colors, I don't think that I would use the ones that are super dark just because I don't really color anything super, super dark on my cards. And I would struggle with doing anything super dark. So I'm not planning at this time on ordering any of the super dark colors. But I think that doing the swatch chart is very important because then, I keep track of what I have. And if I do go to color something, I will know what colors are similar to each other without having to necessarily pull out the whole entire stash. So one of the cool things that I will say about Olo markers is each marker half, and I only order the brush halves in an effort to save money and because I have a few other markers that have chisel tips. I don't use the chisel tips. I did order one marker handle thing just to see how it was from Olo. All right, and then this is another thing that I got recently. I impulse ordered this this penguin stamp and die set bundle thing, I guess, from Gina K Designs and I don't even know, Thermoweb. Yeah, Thermoweb. There we go. So it did come with a whole bunch of stuff. This is actually fuzzy. It says like flocked sheets or whatever. It's fuzzy. There's a white one. Super cool. I'm happy that I got it. I will say that getting this kit was kind of like pivotal in my decision of how I was going to organize and deal with things that come into my stash because the dies and the stamps for this were very much not how you would normally get something from a normal retail store. It was more like, because it's a kit, it's just, the stamp set is just in there. The dies are just in there. So I made the decision to, here's what I'm going to do the first thing. This was inspired by Mary Pocono. I hope I'm saying her name right on YouTube. She did this in one of her stamping hack videos recently. And it like blew my mind. Seriously. So what I'm doing there is I'm taping the acetate sheet from the top of the stamp set onto the back part of the stamp set, like onto this back acetate. And I'm also priming my stamps because I will, like, in hindsight, when I really think about it, there are times that I'm like, oh, well, that's a new stamp set. It's going to be such a pain to prime it and all that stuff. So I'm trying when I buy things to get them completely ready. So I'm also going to make the label for the stamp set and the die set once I figure out how many dies are actually in the set. Because that's another thing. When they come like in a bag like these dies did there, I want to make sure that I can keep track of how many I'm supposed to have. So if I misplace something, I know that there should be 19 dies, not 18. And I'm not trying to figure out which one is missing. So you'll see another thing that I do a little bit later on in this video to try to keep track of dies and figure out what we're missing. So I am making a label on my Brother label maker for the stamp set. After I taped the acetate backing onto the front of the acetate. And I'm also going to, because this stamp set actually does have the images on the acetate from the stamp set, I don't need to put the number of stamps on there because there's pictures of all of them. But I did put, as you see there, I didn't show footage of me putting all of the dies, but there's the number of dies that it has and the manufacturer and everything. And so I'm going to stick the label on the upper left-hand corner of that magnetic sheet. And after I'm done with that, I'm going to make sure I rearrange them so they fit how I want to fit them. Most of my magnetic sheets I've cut from larger sheets into like a 4x6-ish, I think, size sheet, so that it will fit with all the stamp sets and stuff like that that coordinate with it. And what you see me doing there is I'm taking a Sharpie and I'm just trying to like make markings so that I know what the die should look like if I misplace it. So I don't think that I'm looking for some die that just does 2 little ovals. I'm looking for a whole big square die that does little ovals or whatever. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to spare you the boredom of watching me do all of them. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I do this and it's kind of more or less just like a rough outline so that I can kind of see like, oh, look, I'm missing one that looks like earmuffs or something like that. So it can kind of make it easier for me to figure out what I'm missing. I do try very hard to only like use one die set at a time so that I don't like misplace something. But you know, things get busy. You get distracted. I get very distracted very easily. So that's why I'm doing this, to like help my future self. It bothers me a lot when I misplace things. And so this is like definitely a step in the right direction for me to help my future self. And this is another thing that I'm doing so that I know what the stamp set looks like if I take it out of the packaging. I'm putting a sheet of cardstock into the sleeve that I'm going to store the stamps and the dies in. And I just took the whole stamp set there because I'd already primed it. So it's not going to be yucky to stamp with right now. And I taped a piece of cardstock onto the door of the MISTI. And I'm going to use my pressure tool and just press down with that. And I'm going to get the image of the stamp set on there so that when I'm storing this, see, I will know what the stamp set should look like if I'm trying to figure out, like, what the heck does this even look like? Because the dies don't do a very good job of explaining what it should all look like and stuff. So I decided after that I was going to go through all of my stamps and do a similar thing. These are obviously cling mount stamps, but because I took them off of wood blocks, I don't have a photo of what they should look like. So I'm going to stamp it on the acetate. I could also stamp it on the clear piece of, the piece of white cardstock that I have back there. I think for this, for some reason, I decided to do it on the acetate. I don't really know why. I should have just done it on the cardstock, but hindsight's 20/20. It is what it is. So what I'm doing is just taking the StazOn ink because I'm stamping on acetate. And yes, of course, I had to re-ink my StazOn ink pad because I haven't used it in like forever and ever. But I am going to just stamp these on the acetate. Yeah, yet again, don't ask me why I didn't just do it on the cardstock behind there. Who knows? Whatever. It is what it is. At least it'll serve its purpose. So I'm going to stamp it on there. And then the whole point of doing this whole project is to make sure that I am making things as easy as possible for myself going forward. All right, so now we have a paper tray ink stamp set from a really long time ago. And you just saw me having a very thin sheet of like cellophane type of stuff that came with the stamp set. And so what I'm doing is trimming down a piece of acetate that I had in my stash. It's just like thin, like it's actually from a box of transparencies that I bought like forever ago for a different project. Yeah, I don't even know if transparencies are a thing you can buy anymore. I have no clue, but it's really thin acetate. And I am just trimming it down so it will be the same size as this stamp set from Paper Tray Ink. And I've used most of these stamps, so I don't think that I have to prime most of them. But yeah, this was probably honestly my first clear mount stamp. And I'm taping the front piece of acetate to the back piece of acetate. And this Paper Tray Ink stamp set came with this really cool, like, you'll see it here in a second. This is actually a sticker, like a clear sticker. So instead of stamping on the acetate or anything like that, I'm going to put this sticker right over there onto the acetate just so it will help me know where the stamps go and how they fit on the acetate and stuff like that. I like it. It's pretty cool. It's not perfect, but it's helpful. So the paper tray ink, like the little piece of cardstock, has the names of all the stamps and everything on it, but this will be helpful. And for a brief second there, you saw me flip over and there was a little post-it note on the back. I'm doing that to all my stamp sets as well. This is a new order that I received from Ink Road Stamps. And I am going to do the exact same thing with the Ink Road Stamps, stamp sets that I just got. I'm so excited for this Dolly Parton one. That's so cool. And this one, I can't remember what the heck it's called, but how awesome to send to your crafty friends, you know? So I think I didn't film doing that with the stamp sets that I just gotten, but here is another Ink Road stamp set. I'm going to take a piece of tape. This is Gorilla Tape. I did try it with regular packing tape on a few stamp sets, and I don't know what I was doing wrong, but it was ripping. So I decided to switch over to the Gorilla Tape on some of them. Some of them, the packing tape worked just fine. I don't know, maybe I was doing something wrong, but I did use, you can see that there's the packing tape right off to the side there. And I'm going to prime all the stamp sets, all the stamps in the set. And these have the image printed on the acetate, so I don't have to do anything else with this one. But I'm going to put it back in there in its sleeve and verify that it has a post-it on the back. And here's my kitty cat. So I really hope that you enjoy seeing my cat sleep for 5 seconds and that these hints have been helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments down below if any of these were like as mind-blowing to you as they were to me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to come back soon and have a great day. See you soon.